Right, so we're back again. This one, electrician's just been around here because the RCD were tripping, so he's narrowed it down to the boiler. I spoke to him on the phone, asked him what boiler it was. They said combi boiler, which kind of got onto a bit later on, but that kind of set me off down the wrong path straight away. So it was, I've turned up here, I've turned on the boiler, trips the RCD out. So I've just plugged back in the live neutral and earth, made sure that's the cable, turned it on, and obviously disconnected any other external wires. I would have done this and then obviously started stripping back the PCB if needed. So what I realised is when I just have the live neutral and earth in, it's okay. So I'm thinking external control, so I started tracking that wire back thinking dodgy thermostat. Then obviously you look underneath, I see underfloor heating and sound valves, I'm like bang straight away. Obviously going to be a dodgy bloody sound valve. There was something on it that was like a little bit sticky, but it wasn't properly wet on the top. So I'm just going to basically disconnect the wiring centre, make sure it's actually wired up correctly, and then we'll see what's happening, because I think the electrician that said it was an earthing fault, so it obviously ain't burnt out the sound valve, otherwise it'd be smelling. I've actually seen a bit of set on fire as well. See, everything now looks good. But it was funny because this is probably about half an hour into the job when I thought, hang on a minute, let's follow the wire down, see where it goes, and you see all this stuff. But it's quite common now when you see combination boilers fitted with underfloor heating manifolds. Obviously at the end of this job I did give him a recommendation to fit maybe a bypass valve. So I guess at the moment when they're both shut off you've only got the boiler internal bypass. I'm not sure if that's enough for it. So I gave him a little quote to do that. I don't know what this was, it wasn't actually water. He had just had it serviced as well a day or two before for British Gas. So my first instinct was they've undone the filter and spilled a load of water on it. But when I actually felt like the texture of the stuff, it felt like a little bit sticky and it had like a bit of a weird smell. So I think something was sat on that shelf and it had been spilled. So what we're going to do is to get out the hairdryer and dry it out, because I reckon this valve will be totally fine. I mean, the hairdryer is really amazing tool these days. I say if you get any PCB issues, try and give them a blast with a hairdryer, especially Valent. I had a Valent the other day, 12 years old. Display board wasn't working, but it would, I think the fan was running or the pump was running or something, but it wouldn't actually work. Doused it with the air dry for 5 minutes, got it back on. Same with the glowworm HXIs, I've had a few of them dodgy PCBs heated up. I said, if you ever get a PCB where the boiler's not firing up and stuff like that, give it a go. Now this one's the one that was fitted in 2024. The installer's not filled out the benchmark, the PRV's not connected. The flue's not really long enough. I mean, you could argue, but it is 300mm underneath that eaves bit, so technically it might not need to extend it, but obviously it did before, and ultimately the condensation's just going to rot that wood, so it needs doing too. So anyways, just basically putting in P1, so I'm going to give this guy a quote to sort it all out. So obviously the boy's just ramping up there. This is actually a little bit ahead of what I did previously. Needed. When I first came over, I had F28. What's obviously we work in pressure too. Obviously, I watch some videos, most people know it, but obviously just because you get like, you know, if you imagine on a Valent or this particular glowworm, you can basically have 13 millibar working pressure at the boiler. and the boiler is okay with that. But you always have to make sure all your other gas appliances are on, so hobs, fires, stuff like that. And then you have to make sure that you're actually still only getting the 1 millibar drop across the pipework. So if you've maybe got 15 millibar at the boiler, but you've maybe got 20 millibar at the meter, it's actually still incorrect. Obviously that's there where the PRV is not really pumped out. That's your old PRV connection. And that's it with the F28. This was actually when I first arrived, tried resetting it, because instantly you're thinking it's a brand new bloody boiler, it's got an ignition lockout, you know, it isn't going to be a gas valve, it's probably not going to be a bloody block flue. Only thing really you're thinking is it massively under gas, but it's a system boiler and it's only 15 kilowatts, so it'll take a lot of bloody undergassing to undergas that, so straight away you're thinking condense. A little nose inside it. I quite like the AAV tube to a certain degree. Obviously if your AAV is leaking, you ain't going to really see it anymore, which I think I quite like it, to be able to see it when it fucking leaks. There's another boiler I seen the other day as well where, I don't know what boiler it was, but on the AAV tube it actually literally just dropped into the bottom of the case. Well, did it come out underneath? I can't quite remember, but it was a bit weird. Obviously I left a link in as well. I always check with valence and glowworms whether that link's left in. You need to be taking that out, otherwise your boiler's going to stay on 24 hours a day. Surprising how many times you've seen that. Seen one the other day, it's been running for 10 years straight. So I'm just checking out where the condense route went, because obviously straight away that's what I'm kind of thinking the problem is. You have to be careful as well with a lot of the valence and glowworms. You actually need an air gap internally on the condense. If you look at the manufacturer instructions, and if they come out, they'll actually pull you up on it. Another thing I've seen as well is they don't want you to put in leak sealer as well. That can actually be have the warranties voided, which I never knew about. So that's the old condense there, whipping it out. I'm going to try and give it a good blow down and hopefully that does it.
I feel like customer service should know everything, though. That should be simple enough.
You'd think so.